Hello everyone, my name is NotePadN and I write games for fun. So what are we doing tonight? Well, tonight we're going to be working on Eclipse Phase some more. Not Eclipse Phase, that's a completely different game. Eclipse Judgment. Yeah, sorry, it's one of those days. Today has affectionately been a fucking nightmare. That's why I'm actually streaming so late tonight. A little bit later than I'm usually used to. It's been one of those days. Guys, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, kind of. So I'm kind of just recovering from that, been checking a bunch of things. To catch everybody up on what's actually going on, I'm going on a trip next month. I'm going to the UK to visit some friends. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to replace my debit card because the chip is broken. So I called in and they're like, cool, we can replace it for you. This is super easy. And you can still use your card. Cool, they said 1 week. Doesn't come within a week. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. Alright, a little bit busy. Maybe something went wrong. I called, I'm like, hey, can I get that expedited? Like, yeah. The guy today who I called to get it expedited here marked the original card that was sent as lost, which killed my card. So I went from having access to my entire bank account to having whatever's in my wallet. Without him really telling me. And it's just been a mess, and I've been trying to keep a hold of like, okay, when are you actually sending this? 'Cause I'm not going to be here next week at this time. It's a glorious disaster area, and I hate everybody. Every single person involved in this has been just a bleh. But here I am. Hello. Hopefully everyone's having a nice night. I'm ready to go. Today, though, what have we done? Well, we actually did I did quite a bit. So, good old techniques. We all the way down here. I did decide on 50 technique points. You get 50 of these to play around with. 50 may not seem like a lot, but you gotta remember, some of these can be very expensive. Now, kind of just cleaned up some things here. What I need to do actually is put the images in. That just means me going into Novel AI and playing around with it a little bit more to get exactly what I'm looking for. That's all it really is. One of the big changes, though, is that if we go down to here, I did put in the entirety of the martial arts section. There were some small changes, mostly when it came down to how I ended up setting these up a little bit. I did put a little bit of a description down here for retaliation attacks, just because it's a little bit weird. And I have to kind of explain it a little bit differently. I broke them up into offense and defense because I realized you could interpret it different ways poorly. So I was like, okay, let's make that a little bit more precise. Zen fluctuations, transformation states, the number of actions, the multiple targets, number of attacks. We're going to put some big images right down here. And then various martial arts tags of just letting you really hammer out what you want. Got some basic ones over here. Then we have miracles. Now, miracles got broken down into 4 categories. At its core, what a miracle is a miracle. It's something that you're allowed to do or that affects you in a more of a narrative sense. Now, you could be, say, for example, such as you kind of see there is, as a greater one, you can see in the dark perfectly. You can stop time for a few seconds. Or you can walk on water. Lesser ones may be able to, again, you can see in the dark or things like that. There are some cosmetic miracles that are just changing you as a character in a pretty fundamental way, but this isn't really the important part. You notice as technique point cost there is 0. This is the idea. These are the miraculous traits. Every miracle you select is actually tied to something in your armor. Some of these are pretty grand. If you notice, these are actually almost entirely from Gai. For example, innocent. The armor radiates an innocent aura, others flocking to protect it. All allies take a +10 to all actions while in the same space as a Zia. That this does not stack. You end up with things like Martyr's Blood. The armor is adorned with healing implements and symbology. The armor is broken. All allies in battle receive +5 armor points. It's little things like this. These are, you have to tie every miracle to one of these kind of changes to your armor. It's a miraculous trait. Now, some of these can actually be negative, such as you're fucking blind inside of it. Yeah, I mean, why do you fucking people PM me now of all times? But yes, so every single one of these has to be tied to a miracle of some kind. You know, for example, if you really want to kind of go down here, you're doing a lot of cosmetic miracles. So like, oh yeah, I want cosmetic miracles to buy danger sense, or buy dark vision, or by being fragile. Yeah. Now, this is pulling it all together. Now, as you can kind of see here, now I didn't want to do that. I want to in a little bit more. These were our 3 characters. I wanted to fit all of them together in one, but we'll just use Jin Yang here, the lackadaisy musician. He has 3 main techniques. He's got Lullaby of the Hero, which is a mystic art. The 6-string strike of Zen martial art that cost him 27 of his points. But he also gets plus 20 to hit with it. He gets to able to heal himself effectively. Nobody can retaliate against it. I should put 6. He generates 2 Zen out of it. He gets to attack twice, and he has all these additional bonuses to it. This is a pretty good thing. He can only do it once a round effectively, once an action, because it has to be his first action. But every round, he's going to be able to do this. And it's a pretty damn good ability. That's what he wants to do. But he also has a lesser miracle of that he's a magician, and he has Martyr's Desire on it. So that's a kind of a big thing for him. He wants to get into the fight, and he wants to punch people. That's how he operates. Now, if I go to Martyr's Demise, Martyr's Blood. I wrote it down wrong. Martyr's Blood. This is just how everything is kind of done. This is a fairly simple one. As you can kind of see here, I should do this just up a little bit more. However, over here has a much more complicated one, as she has multiple martial arts, multiple kind of mystic arts, kind of all flowing into one another. He also has a stance. Then we have Natalia. Natalia is very simple. Natalia wants to beat people to death. She has a weapon art, which allows her to pretty much use her fists do +4 damage raw at all times. She just moves a lot slower, but every time she hits you, she eats your actions. Is she scary? Yes, that's the point. She's supposed to be scary. That's the entire, concept of her. However, she wants to use her Zen technique to move forward, beat you to death, and then move out. She is never not going to be beating you to death. Which is one of the advantages of her long distance melee, is that she has to be engaged with you to actually punch you, but she's also being able to move up. Somebody is behind her, though, she can punch you. She has to be engaged. That's one of the big ideas here. You kind of see this is also a Katsu kind of defensive technique. You can trigger this on a defensive action, and she's able to spend her Zen. She gets off balance, but she can defend it even against ranged retaliation attacks. Which, hey, I'm going to shoot you with my laser gun, and being like, oh, while I'm defending and already spent the points here, I'm going to knock back your attack. Natalia is supposed to be defensive, and she's supposed to rush up there and beat you to death. That's her entire thing. All of the first 2 are 50 points exactly. Natalia is, I believe, 49. So she pretty much starts with a little bit extra XP. Am I entirely happy with the martial arts system? Am I entirely happy with how this works? It works enough. Flawless, far from it. But for what I need right now, yeah, it works. But yeah, everything here is exactly what you would like. I will probably end up having Manly or probably Manly, because I like Manly and he's a nice guy. Probably have him look at things and maybe make his own set of, powers and stuff. See what kind of players are looking at. But actually what I should do, if I go to martial here real fast. Well, here, another one. We should do all of the martial arts are tied to an action. The Gia tied to an action the Gia can perform. Gia can all martial arts are tied to an action the Gia can perform. So technically, you can, if you really want to, morph into and like kind of game like the focus mechanic here. So you can say, oh, I want to gain 5 focus. You just say, I'm going to make a technique. And you go up here to then martial arts and you're like, okay, I want to gain 5 techniques. And you just spend 12. Spend 12 technique points and you do it tied to your focus. And congratulations, you made it better. But you're using a very valuable resource. That's kind of the idea. You are burning a resource that you no longer have access to. Which sucks, which is sad. So let's see. Anything else we're looking for? Nope. I will probably do a once over on combat. But I'm like 97%. Actually, no, that reminds me. So I'll stand during the initiative phase combat. This was a request by the commissioner. During the first round of combat, actually, we're using you as 12. Actually, no. We'll do during the first round of combat. If the Gia are not already ambushed, let's see. During the first round of combat, the G are not ambushed. Actually, put this up here. What do I want to do? I know. Pretty much, he wants an engagement, something similar to that, and I know how to do it. The basic round of combat. So we're going to put in. I'm going to put this. See, that's the question. See, now we've hit this point of the game where everything is roughly set up, and I just need to like put things into places now. Let's see. Actually, I'll. During the first round of combat, if a Gia or enemy exceeds 30 of, actually, no, how do I want to do that? Pretty much it's a surprise action. During the initiative phase. Okay. Gotta fix that up. Where do I want to put? Actually, put it right here. During the initial lieutenants, monsters. Let's see, Gia, lieutenants, or monsters. I completely missed lieutenants. Let's see, during the initial round of the combat, each major combatant, Gia lieutenants or monsters, will roll. Where do I want to put? Pretty much what it's going to be is we want to do kind of like, if we put here, if we do put it like ambush, we'll never be ambushed by enemies. You must always choose to ambush, may always choose to ambush the enemy. So it would be if the any of the G or major combatants manage to roll over. Fuck, how do I want to do that? Actually, no, unless we put it like as a side note. We do side note ambushing. If the Gia or enemies ambush the other side, both actually during the initial round of combat, if neither side had fully revealed themselves during the initial round of combat, if neither side had fully revealed themselves, ambush. We'll make an ambush roll. Both will roll initiative. Both will actually make a. Both sides can. During the initial round of combat, if neither side has fully revealed themselves, both may. If either side, let's see, either side manages to score 30, we'll say 30 up. Actually, score over 30 of one of the let's see, either side manages to score 30 over highest of the other side. Let's see if either side manages to score over 30. Actually, either side. The ambushers may add. From full round of combat, the ambushers may perform a full round of combat before the ambushed are able to act. What are the ambush rules? What am I thinking of? Anima. Then this. Yeah, this is gonna be what it. If either side managed to score over 30 on the highest roll of their enemy, of their opponents, then they are considered ambushed. The ambushers make a full round of combat before the ambushed are able to act. Then the initiative phase. Then combat begins as then combat begins normal. If let's see, if the Jia or enemies deliberately set up an ambush, they all receive a plus 20. Actually, no, they all receive a plus 30 to their to this ambush roll, but not the initiative roll. For example, a monster has planned an ambush and rolls a let's say a 60, has rolled 60 for a total of a 94. It's ambush. Or no, for their the Geo managed to score 85 for their initiative, meaning that the ambush is not actually no. They receive plus 40 to this ambush roll. That monster, the monster will act first in the initiative, but will not be considered ambushed. Will not be considered ambushing, especially if they are, but they will not be considered. Doesn't seem like a big idea. It's mostly for allies who are able to like really capitalize on that. Mostly the Jia are able to capitalize on it a lot more because they're going to be normally acting last. Enemies ambushing pretty much means like anybody in like Earth, if you just like kind of put yourself down in Earth and you guys get ambushed, you're at a disadvantage because they're able to act and they're able to do effectively 2 rounds ahead of you. You know, it's not that big of a deal, but it's like, now that, you know, I'm taking a lot of damage all of a sudden. Hey. It's going. We're kicking along. Today has been a rough day. Today we need to get done with relationships though. That's kind of the main goal of today. Relationships, and we're going to kind of try at least to kick our way through deviations and try to wrap everything up on Wednesday. That'll be the hard part. We're 49 pages in, and I'm estimating that this is probably going to look more about 50 by the end of things. So I'm ready. It's going to be great. This. Come on. Fight me. Don't fight me. God damn it, son of a bitch. Fuck. Oh, right there. We are Why do you not? See, this looks perfect. I don't know why this is now suddenly not wanting to work properly. I mean, yeah. I wonder if I do that. Will you? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Now you want. Awesome. So we do that, then we put the insert side note here. Put the side note for ambushing here. Why are you that way? You should be this way. Why are you doing this to me? Now, if we double check, this shouldn't really be a side note because do something like this. So we just do it kind of like as a side note, like during the initial, neither side is fully actually. During the initial round of combat, if neither side has fully revealed themselves, they're allowed to ambush. We slap an image right there. We're gonna slap a big ass image right there, but I think I can manage that. Focusing, partial transformation, night, Nito, Burrito. Okay, let's do this. Oh no, no! A very, very important question. It's 28th the day. You're gonna go over the games, and also the last day submit the Zombeetle, or 27th is the last day. I'm gonna go over, if everything goes according to plan, I'm gonna go over them on the 28th. So pretty much you have until noon on the 28th to get things done. I will go over all of them live without having to look at any single one of them because it'll be funnier that way. You may be wondering, why? Why would that be amusing? Because I find it amusing. Let's see. So, unbreakable bonds, relationships, and obligations. These. This is Gia is not alone. Let's see this. Gia is not alone in there. How do I want to do? How do I want to organize this? Right there. Okay. Gia is not alone in their struggles. Not alone in their struggles, nor are alone in their struggles. They are surrounded by those. Let's see. Fuck. Today's been a very frazzled day, so apologies if I'm not making a lot of sense here. You're not alone in their struggles. They are surrounded by those who care about them, and wish to see them happy. These are called relationships. These are relationships. Playing a fundamental role in the nature of the Gia's cultivation. Gia's cultivation. Playing a fundamental role in the nature of the Gia's cultivation. In cultivated worlds, cultivation with the proper flow of chi and spiritual energy. Refinement. The refinement of power is natural. However, in an uncultivated world, the Gia must work harder to properly process their energy. Their newfound power. Relationships allow the Gia to process to how do I end up working? Process. Let's see. Relationship allow the to process karma. To process karma. The weight on on their soul. Allow the Jia to process karma. The weight on their soul are easy. Let's see. Relationships allow the Jia to process karma. The weight on their soul. In let's see if I want to be. I know how we. Let's see. At the end of every session, the Jia will take a 1d10. We'll take a 1d10 for every relationship. Let's see. Every relationship they have. After every relationship they have interacted with. Let's see, a D10 for every relationship. I mentioned it up here. This is the relationship section. Intensity. Every relationship they had interacted with. Fuck. At the end of every session, the Jia will take D10, 1d10 per intensity of a relationship they have interacted with. Let's for intensity of the relationship that they have interacted with. They will roll this. They will roll these dice. They will roll these dice and reduce their current karma. Reduce their current karma by that amount. Converting it all into experience point. Converting it all into experience point. Converting it all into experience points to be used to increase the G power. All the way back up. We want to check this. Okay. Like God and country intended. Yeah, pretty much. No, it's thing is with today, it's just been it's one of those things like we've had just a oh, give me a second. This is possibly about it. Hello. The traditional note mom conversation track of A to B to C, each one taking slightly longer than the last time. It's great. Let's see. At the end of every session, you'll take 1d10 per intensity of a relationship that they interacted with. We'll roll these dice and reduce their current karma by that amount. Bring it all into experience points to be used. Increases your power. Relationships come in many varieties. Relationships come in many varieties and purposes. Each one requiring the Jia to expend time and effort to cultivate further. So then we go immediately into, we do this right here. We need to understand, like, this is what a basic relationship actually is. These are very important because these are going to allow you to process your karma properly. Then we go into natural relationships. Ajia's natural relationship. Let's see. Ajia's natural relationships are tied to their personal lives and individual. Let's see. Are tied to their personal lives. These are people who have a vested interest in Jia as a person, not as a cultivator. Interest in Jia as a person, not as a cultivator. These can be friends, family, co-workers, or any other variety of people Jia interacts with. Natural relationships will never. Let's see. Natural relationships only fade if the Jia actively. If the Jia actively wishes to distance themselves. Natural relationships only fade if the Jia actively wishes to distance themselves, or the relationship becomes overly or the relationship breaks down. Let's see. The Jia is. Let's see. The Jia can gain more of these by cultivating and forging bonds with others along their journey, allowing them to have a wider repertoire of friends and associates to lean on. A wider repertoire of friends and associates to lean on. However, all of these relationships all have something on the Jia as much as them. They are useful. These are living, breathing people with their own concerns and problems. Many times a Jia may be called to help a friend over investigating a crime or or assisting their right training or training their powers. Temporary. Let's see. How do we want to word this? I don't think temporary relationships is the correct way of wording it. Impromptu relationships? Yeah, actually, we'll do impromptu relationships. During the journey, the Jia we'll find those in need. Those in need often being targeted by the devil or their forces. These people will immediately form a impromptu relationship with each of the Jia. As long as the heroes keep them, the intensity will grow up to at least we'll assist them. Impromptu relationships are always at intensity. Let's see, intensity 1. Impromptu relationships are always at intensity 1. But when the problem is solved, they will fade away into the background. They will fade away into the background unless they are actively kept as a relationship, unless they are actively kept as a natural relationship by one of the Jia. Kind of the idea behind like what I want the idea of an impromptu relationship being is fucking oh no, I can't think of what's a good Chinese name generator. Yeah, I'm really bad at naming things, by the way. Li Zhu is our good friend. We're here to save her from getting absolutely murdered by giant monsters, and we help her along. We find out her problems. We defeat the big bad at the end. If somebody wants to keep her as a relationship, they are able to. She becomes a natural relationship, starting at intensity 1. And now they're pretty much able to kind of cultivate that basic kind of friendship or, bond with one another. However, if nobody really wants to, if, Li Zhu isn't really that cool, she can just go away and nothing really changes. Everyone's going to get that 1d10 karmic processing at the end of the session. Everyone's going to get something. But even if it's like, it's not really that big of a deal. It's like, yeah. So it's kind of like, if you want to keep people on board, then you can kind of keep, cultivating those relationships with them. If not, you don't have to. That's fine. That's kind of what an impromptu relationship is. It's like, yeah, you're always going to form a bond with people you're assisting. Oh no, Li Zhu is being targeted to become a monster by the devil. How do we do this? Well, we're going to help them. It's like, okay, so yeah, impromptu relationships are very quick and very dirty. So these relationships are quick, dirty, and and forged in fire, while the Gia may be able to process some of their karma. These individuals may only know the Gia in their transform state. It's like if you want to keep it that way, you don't really need to use these impromptu relationships. You're going to get one of these at least once. Help you do something with it. Instead of handing out free XP, this is the way you get free XP. So our final one is obligations. Let's see. May have an obligation of some. They have an obligation of some kind. This is a special relationship. Let's see. This is a special relationship which allows which is a gradual method processing of processing karma in exchange for time. These can be going to school, going to work, or assisting with a number of projects or problems. Obligations are not, quote, real relationships, but they may involve relationships. They would involve relationships by themselves. The obligation has a raw karmic processing rate of 1 to 5. Every time the Gia goes to or participates in the obligation, they will process that much karma. If you are a high school student, you might have the obligation of going to school every day for 3. You have to go to school every single day. If you do, you're going to be able to process 3 karma. This may not seem like a lot, but it's like, hey, because you're going to school and it's like, hey, here's 3 characters. I'm a college student. You're unemployed. That person is a fucking criminal, for God's sakes. I'm spending time at school going to classes. I can't help them with things. I'm not able to do things because I'm doing that, but I'm able to process my karma a little bit reliably. Hey, I have a job I have to go to. I have a problem I need to do. There's something clearly like I'm obligated to do this thing that is something that's, kind of problematic in a way. This can also lead to you being very easily able to forge bonds with other people. Hey, I go to school every single day and I get to hang out with my best friend there. We're very good close friends. Because I've gone to this obligation, I've now interacted with that friend and I'm able to process my karma a little bit more easily. Great, awesome, this is good. You're just at school or you're at work. You're doing something that is hindering you from doing other things. Every time a participates in the obligation, they will process that much karma. Often a obligation will only come up per session. Once per session. By their nature, these are not strictly. These are not strictly problems, but which force the Gia's hand and has them take time away away from their now their holy dude, their celestial duties. Hey, you have to stop the devil from destroying reality. Did you get your computer crash thing fixed? It wasn't my computer crashing. It was OBS. There are currently there's two things that I am relatively confident would occur. I think the first bit was Jeff Bezos decided to put me in a different region for streaming without telling me. It was like, oh, well, you're going to be streaming now in Europe. I'm not in Europe. And it would and I think it was just kind of eating away things when it shouldn't have. I think occasionally there's little hiccups just because I click on something or somebody DMs me something, and I think it's kind of like the little hiccups. I think, again, it was just OBS was trying to be very helpful and Twitch was trying to be very helpful about doing it the wrong way. It sounds like a Persona XP system. That is correct. It is a Persona XP system. Persona stuff recently. Fun fact. Generally speaking, what I wanted to get across here with Eclipse Judgment was you need to kind of have these relationships a lot more because it's a lot easier for you to burn out. You've been given a shit ton of power, putting you way far above human. Unfortunately, you're being put way far above human, and your soul is really not fit for it. You ever hit 108, you're gonna suffer a fire deviation. Literally, your soul has been burnt out, and you're fucked. At best, you'll just die. At worst, you're gonna wish you were dead. And I kind of wanted that to get like basic idea of you have the problems of power. This is you aren't designated to be a true cultivator yet. That's not the point. When you hit the end, though, that's when you can become a true cultivator. You're taking not necessarily even a shortcut. You've been given the training disc. You've been given the training manual and told, go get him, Tiger. Like, oh no. Let's see. Here's my those, not strictly a problem, but they things which force the Vegeta's hand and has them take time away from their celestial duties. Does count as, let's see, working on an obligation with a natural relationship does count as fully interacting with them as fully interacting as well. Oh, very simple. Not exactly the most complicated system in the world, but I need for it functional. Righty, breakdown, repertoire, because repertoire is a fun word. Impromptu relate. Oh no, I love Kurumi-chan, and I want Kurumi-chan to friend, therefore I will do things to help Kurumi-chan. Why are you here? No. Obligations. Click on the obligations, click on the relationship, school, projects, education. However, this leads us to the unfortunate part of strained relationships. Strained relationships. Not everyone is perfect. Not everyone is perfect. People are fallible and fall into danger. If Gia does not interact with or struggles to maintain a relationship with one of their relationships, bond with one of their relationships, then it will become strained. It will become strained. When a relationship is strained, instead of rolling gain to remove karma, rolling to remove karma at the end of the session. At the end of the session, depending on the intensity of the relationship. Let's see. Depending on the intensity of the relationship, the Jia will gain that much karma. The bonds form. The karma gained from strained relationships. Let's see. Karma gained from strained relationships are actively weigh heavily on the Jia, and force them to weigh heavily on the Jia and force them to act to repair them, or they may pursue a more radical choice and break away from the relationship, or break away from the. Right, they will insert rolling room at the end of the session, depending on the intensity of the relationship. The G will gain that much. They're literally heavily on the ship, force them back to repair them, or they may pursue radical choice and break away from the room. When strained relationships require time and effort to fully heal and repair. Sometimes literally. If a family member is injured, due to then the relationship is strained until they make a recovery. If a classmate is depressed and unable to function, is depressed and miserable, the relationship is strained. If a coworker is furious at his boss, coworker is furious at the boss, the relationship is strained. Strained relationships are built on negative emotions. Negative emotions that knock the imbalance, the chi balance of the Jia. Yeah, this is the main idea of a strained relationship. It's not necessarily like, oh, well, this person's mad at you, person's this. No, it's like they are just pissed. Like, they're mad. And because they're mad, you're suffering the consequences. So you kind of have to go into there. So it's like cultivating like a lot of little, like very short relationships is actually maybe better, because it's like, yeah, that person really isn't going to give a shit. Like, yeah, they can be pissed or something, but if that intensity isn't really high, it doesn't really matter, because like they're not going to bother you with their problems. And you don't, like, that relationship is a two-way street. You have intensity 1 with somebody, you don't really care about them, and they, like, you care about them, but it's kind of like, oh, we talk to each other at the bar. we're not like best friends or anything. We're not gonna die for one another or anything. It's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, we can kind of, do our worries. But if that person, gets really pissed, or, he clearly venting at you, then it's like, yeah, okay. Like, hey, how can I help? It's little things. But if, let's say, for example, you have a intensity 5 relationship with somebody, like, hey, I love this person, to surrender to oblivion, yeah. If you say, hey, I love this person, and they love me, and they are clearly having a bad time, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's real bad. You're going to be suffering 5d10 karma gain if you can't fix it, or at least mitigate it. It's like, okay, I love this person, but she got hurt. How did she get hurt? How can I fix it? And what do I do to help her recover from this? Hey everybody, my girlfriend's hurt. She got into an accident. Yeah, and we're going to the demon world to get something to help her out, because she needs to make a recovery. Like, oh, why? Why? Because I am in love with this woman and I will do anything for her. Hey everybody, my best friend is going through a horrible breakup and he is very depressed. How do I help him? Hey guys, it's little things like that. That means also it's kind of like, yeah, having a relationship with some people is going to be a lot more hard. But it's also like, hey, your girlfriend's insane and she's a weird yandere. Yeah, my GF is sick. Time to kill Satan. Yeah, it's like, we need to go to the demon world real fast and pick up some medication for her. Hey, we just need to go there real fast, and like, we're gonna have to do some stuff down there. What I want to get across is the idea of like a big strained little strained relationships is like, you just need to spend time with them more than anything. Like, it's a little bit of a tax, you could say. It's like, it's a tax to kind of get rid of them, and it's like, okay, damn it. I should manage my relationships a little bit easier. If you want to do for like a bigger one, like that's an adventure. Hey, this person's girlfriend is sick. How do we fix this? Well, we do have somebody who can heal other people. Then let's try to get her healed. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do that. Because remember, this is a way for you to not only vent your karma, but to gain it. So you want to keep those really higher value relationships in order. You want to keep those good because that's going to help you level up faster. But you want to keep your lower level ones so you have something to kind of rely on. So that's kind of the idea. Strained relationships aren't necessarily bad. They're just something has gone wrong. And we're feeding that negative emotion. Hey, my mom is, my mama is currently in danger. She's being stalked by somebody. We need to save her. Like, hey! Now, mind you, you can also tie this to villains, especially if the villain finds out who you are. Hey, we understand that we understand as the devil himself, I understand that this is someone that you care about. I'm going to constantly make her life miserable so you're miserable. Because I can fuck with her a lot easier than I can fuck with you. Like, God damn it, how do I fix this? Damn it. What am I going to do? I'm in danger. Kurumi-chan, you know how it goes. Failing on the actually similar to this is similar on the, how do I want to word this? Actually, obligations can suffer from strain as well. If the Jia fails to attend, the Jia fails to attend the obligation, fails to attend the obligation, or assist in it, it will incur a karma boost consistently. The first time is the raw karma. This is the raw karma. But every subsequent time multiply adds another step of modification to it. For example, going to school has an obligation 3. The first time it's missed is +3 karma. Second time is +6 karma, then +9, +12, and so on. This is also not dealing with the overall consequences of not participating in the obligation itself. Should the Jia completely fail to live up to the obligation, they receive a flat 15. They receive a flat obligation value times 10. Increase to their karma, as well as suffer the devastating consequence. So the idea there is, hey, I need to go to school. I'm not going to go to school because I need to save the world. Hey, yeah, congratulations, you're going to take a shit ton of karma loss every time, but then, oh no, you've missed a shit ton of school, you're going to get expelled. See, if this wasn't a like commission project, I would do something like that, but people have been like, hey, I want to do commission stuff. Hey, I want to do commission stuff. Hey, I want to do commission stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. However, like, can we cool down for like 2 seconds, guys? There's two moments. Strained relationships. That's really all I need. This is a pretty simple mechanic, like a pretty simple idea, and the dream is this is going to have people interact with characters a bit more consistently. You know what I should do is put a side note. Side note. It's placing a numerical value on relationships. Can be a bit complicated. As players may hyper focus on quote optimizing their relationships. If you per session, give them the option of interacting with one to two of their natural relationships, as well as the impromptu. Obligations should come up as a inconvenience. Obligations should come up as an inconvenience more than an active effort to game it. Going to school will only net you only net you a single instance of karmic processing, but the character, but the yeah needs to go to school as the other characters desperately need him. Oh no, we need you. If you notice players are neglecting underperforming relationships, then strain them. Then strain them immediately. Then strain them. They should be. Then strain them. There we go. It's kind of like, yeah, you can ignore all these relationships which are like, you aren't contributing enough to the full thing, but it's also like, yeah, they're not contributing. Oh, hi, Solid. Sorry, I saw your last message. I should reply to that, but then everyone else got. Yeah, having a cold sucks. Not gonna lie about that. I got spooked last week actually. My throat got a little itchy, but I think I just wasn't drinking enough water. I feel a lot better this week. I kind of told the story at the beginning of the stream. It's been a mess for me today. It's just people and getting everything set up for my trip next week. It's like, god damn it, I just need everything to like, why can't everything just nicely work together? So getting all that sorted out and organized is a pain in the ass. Of course, things keep popping up at random intervals, being like, we're gonna make everything, everything more inconvenient for you. I'm like, no, please, God, no. Batata says hello, everybody. Very important. Oh, right. Can't see my fucking mind. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? We are at relationships. We're at 51 fucking pages. So this brings us to salvation in damnation. Okay. Salvation in damnation. Karma, what? A deviation is a aberrant. Would that be the correct term for aberrant? Deviation is an aberrant. Deviation of the aberrant. The worst of these can cause a cultivation to burn out entirely, change the nature of a person, or change the nature of a person at a fundamental level. The most dangerous of the let's see. The dreaded fire deviation is the chief concern of many cultivators undergoing emotional turmoil. Cultivation, many growing emotional turmoil. Undergoing emotional turmoil, not only scarring their soul, but also their ability to manipulate or manipulate their chi. When karma reaches critical levels with a Jia unable to properly process it, they risk full fire deviation. This will not only immolate their soul, but has a distinct likelihood, distinct chance of outright killing them. After reaching 108 karma, the fire deviation will consume them. But in desperation, Jia has one last opportunity. Save themselves. Partial deviations is akin to a ritualistic scarring of the instead of it lighting itself ablaze. Instead of lighting itself ablaze, take a different path to grant them more time to process that karma. Off topic, do you mind me asking a question? Is it a good idea to swap system for D10 only to D8, D10, and D12? Do you roll your dice at once? No, most checks would 2, 3 rolls. Let's see. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the big thing. Do you think it would help the system, or are you doing it because you're not confident in that D10 system? That's a very important thing. I see people be like, I completely changed my core system again. I'm like, why'd you change it? Well, I didn't like it. What do you mean? Why didn't you like it? Well, it was different, and I wanted to change it. I'm like, no, don't change something randomly. You must provide a purpose to it. You must have to provide a reason to it. This is how things usually get stuck in development. Hell, fun fact, everybody. If you agonize always over the little details, little notes, and little problems, then you're never going to get anywhere. However, if you're making a deliberate change for the betterment of the game, you're like, I need to get people to roll more dice, because that's what I want, then it's a good idea. I want people to do this. Hey, I need damage to be higher. That's why I changed how damage calculates. I need armor to be higher. That's how I change armor. If you're doing it just to do it the him and haw a little bit, yeah, that's not great. That's why I've been making. People have been memeing on K a little bit. I don't know if any of you know K. K's autism from the threads, or a full plate harness. I believe that's what his game's called. He has been working on that thing forever, and he's like, I'm gonna maybe change something. I'm like, just release the fucking game already, you fool. Release it. It's a good thing. So really, I'll always ask yourself those questions. Yeah. There's no right answer to be like, will this make the game more fun? I'm like, nah, I don't fucking know. core system stuff. Yeah, it's fun to change. Like, here's the thing: it's fun to change. Like, yeah, again, if it's like you need to speed up play, don't hesitate to do it. That's what I've been thinking about doing with my Metal Saviors, actually. Just speeding, trying to do everything I can to speed things up a little bit more. Alright, so more time to process that karma. The Gia may opt to take a partial deviation to reduce their karma by a set amount. Each time they take a partial deviation, the amount of karma reduced. The amount of karma forcefully. Let's see. The amount of karma forcefully removed is reduced. This karma is not processed, meaning that it is not converted into experience points, but rather completely lost. In its place, the Gia's body twists and changes itself. To some, it may be a mutation. To others, to some, it may be changes itself physically to represent the new injury wounds on the Gia form. Yo, this is the idea behind this. It's like, this is a little bit of a savior mechanic. This is a little bit of a savior mechanic, which is like, yeah, if your relationships and things like this start suffering really badly, and you've like, oh, I've spiked my karma up to like, oh no, I have 104 karma. You're gonna take one of these partial deviations to bring it down to like 60. Like, you just gotta do it. Not because you need to, but because fucking Kurumi-chan just got sick and she rolled 50 plus on your fucking karma. You ever try to work on something but shit keeps happening? That's my daily life, Solid. That is my daily existence. But then something goes wrong. Yeah, no, it's I'm keenly aware of that. Trust me. We want to do table this. Deviation. Actually, deviation number. Actually, no, partial deviation amount. Moved. This isn't really like accurate to any cultivation stuff, at least nothing that I've ever heard about before. This is kind of just a very much a gameplay thing. If you've done, this is your first, actually, first, second, third, fourth. We want to do it by 4 because 4 is technically 4 equal death. It's 5, like, what's another unlucky number? Unlucky number in China. 4 is like the ultimate unlucky number. If we do 4, we can do karma remove, we do 60, 50, 40, 20. Actually, 70, 50, 40, 70, 50, 30, 10. We do reduce it by 10. We do lose it by 20 each time. So it gets gradually like, yeah, the first one is like a real big save. I'm like, okay, we can do it. The second, the third, every subsequent one is kind of, you get fucked. No. Oh yeah. You get 1 karma remove after your 5th partial D. It's not even really. I want to emphasize that is not the point in this situation. Like, you're not really like, I'm gonna go to. I want to get 5 partial deviations. Like, no, that's terrible. That's really bad. I like to write some. I like to write some notes down sometimes. I find my written notes to be a lot more precise than my typed out notes, but I find my typed out notes to be a lot more convenient. But I usually like writing my notes. Like, anytime I like do writing things, I like going to a place. I like sitting down someplace and like writing them out, usually outside. I just find it really relaxing. Let's see. So each partial deviation is tied to an elemental type. It's tied to an element type. If element type, Gia undergoes the partial deviation. The effects are immediate. And agonizing. But they will live. Undergoes the partial deviation. Let's do the Chinese element. Find me the Chinese element chart. We want fire to be 4. With fire, then lead earth. Metal, water. Why aren't you sorting it out alphabetically? Because I want 4 to be fire, because 4 is bad. Then we do column to right. Description. So zoom all the way. Zippity zoom da, zippity dee, zippity doo. Zippity dee da, zippity day. Don't do this, by the way, kids. Don't look that up. Undergoing a wood deviation has the Gia undergo a natural change in their body. Natural change in their body. Often growing having their body act as a, how do we want to, as a vase for a new life, a new plant life, or other such natural entities. Suffering from a metal deviation as the Gia's body twist, turn, chug, and clang together as a part of their body has now mechanized. Requiring constant maintenance and coverings to ensure their new form. Earth deviant, primal as very primal instinct process of an earth deviation forces the Gia's body to change into a more primal state, often mimicking demons they have encountered. Mimicking the beastmen of old, with often mimicking beastmen and other animalistic demons. In flow of a water deviation is calming at first, but the Gia will quickly understand that the more aquatic features they have developed, they have grown, are not fit for overland travel. Hey, you have gills now. Let's see. Technically, deviation works in the logic of the element and begets it prior to the field. Yeah, it's pretty much, I'm going with more along the idea that you are actively doing something that's tied to an element. So, and it's a little bit like, yeah, these are kind of like mutations, but fuck it, I can do that. Mostly because I want to put in some more Common Rider logic. More Common Rider than anything. Most people don't remember, like, Common Rider, the original one anyway. He was pretty much like a fucking cyborg. So I'm kind of going down more of that logic. It's just like, you're clearly being change at a fundamental level as you are being more influenced to go down a certain road. Like, yeah, you're becoming more of this, which multiple deviations could be very bad for you. But then they have grown not fit for overland travel. The roar of a fire deviation is but a spark of the real thing. The real thing. The Gia will still be burnt. Will still be burnt by the overwhelming flames. Overwhelming flames. Will still be burnt by the overwhelming flames, forcing them to hide hideous features, hideous scars, burnt marks, or other very obvious and difficult to hide. Injuries. Expect old wounds to back up. Fire, like a partial fire deviation is real fucking spooky for you, because it's like, yeah, hey, your body is like trying to kill itself. It's like, hey, I really want to burn you alive, but I can't. So that's hella lame. If you don't know yet, everybody, I'm secretly from Life is Strange. I've never actually played Life is Strange. I don't know why people like it so much. Never saw the appeal of it. So, the process of an Earth deviation is tied to an elemental type. Because if you want to see the truly fucked up nightmare creature that can possibly happen, let's say we undergo three partial deviations. Let's roll. So we got a 7, 9, and a 10. So we've got 2 water deviations, and we have a metal deviation. We're turning into a boat, everybody. How much Kamen Rider have you watched? I watched a lot of Amazon. That was my show that I liked. I like the Amazon Kamen Rider Amazon show. That was my fucking baller. I would like to watch a lot of the other writer stuff. It's just, they're kind of a bitch to find unless you go through like the other sites, and then you have to download it through the torrents, or you have to download them through other places. They just kind of become a bitch to actually watch. So I haven't really watched much else except Amazon and lots of other just random little clips of stuff. There was a Futo PI. That was actually a Kamen Rider show, like an anime that came out, I believe, this season? If it was this season or last season. I was like, oh, this seems kind of neat. It's very they've always sounded odd that it wasn't full on Kamen Rider. There have been a lot of Kamen Rider like anime strictly. That's actually relatively rare, but I guess that kind of like goes against the spirit of the whole thing. But yeah. A lot of references to Kamen Rider, but not a lot of like actual honest to god Kamen Rider show, anime or anything like that. Even manga is kind of rare. Like speaking about Kamen Rider manga, this is the only one I could really find. There's no need for kings or soldiers in the world I dream of. There's no need for kings and soldiers. That also brings me to the page that hits hard. This page fucking hits hard. I don't think anyone quite realizes. Even if, hey, won't you believe in him? That even if there's no God or Buddha, there is Kamen Rider. It fucking hits hard. I've always liked it. And this is actually where I found this image. I'm like, this is exactly what I need. Yeah, good old fashioned Kamen Rider. Inadvertently, this game became a lot more of a Kamen Rider. Yeah, inadvertently, this became a lot more of a Kamen Rider game than I think I was originally supposed to do, but fuck it, I can do. There's a ton of pissing in alchemy. Yeah, that is very true. By the way, like strict alchemy does have a lot of human bodily functions because like you got to think about it like this. If the ultimate dream is we need to make gold out of something readily available, what's the most readily available thing available? I guess you you turn around. Holy shit! Get me that chamber pot. We're gonna cook it. That's where you get things like like not ammonia, but the human body really is an amazing substance. You gotta remember that. It is a very amazing tool to do what you need. We slap a big ass image like right here. We put an image like right here. Partial deviations aren't that big. Okay, so really all we need to do now is the delusions of grandeur, which is just advancement, which isn't going to take too long, in the GM section. What I want to do now, right this moment, is I want to go into this section, and I want to do just some double checking. I just want to go through it once, and I double check everything, and I want to make everything is nice and pretty. Yeah, that is the absolute fucking baller statements. Truly, GM sections are the enemies of all devs. I've been debating on like writing up a like how to, like what is role playing games, what are RPGs section, like kind of like a universal one, just to be available for everybody. I've actually seriously debated that just so I can put it in the front of all my games to bulk my page count up. As well as kind of like, here's a basic GM section. Usually the times that I think the best thing in wording is I think how do I want to word this? Yeah, it's usually I use it as like a quick and dirty NPC creation, or like if it's a really weird game, I might put a section in there being like, this is kind of how you run it. Like Void Haunters, for example. Void Haunters actually had a GM section. Because like pretty much like this was my thing like right here. Like this was pretty much the GM section. Like, yeah, this is kind of an important thing to kind of muse about. Which I need to get this uploaded. God, there's shit I got. I have so much I need to do. So let's see. Do you live on uncultivated earth? You know what? I'm going to make a decision right now. We're going to go right here. We're going to type in uncultivated world. And we're going to call it the uncultivated world. We're going to capitalize all instances of uncultivated. All instances of that is going to get changed to capital. Every instance of cultivated is going to get changed to cultivated. I should do just to make sure. We're going to do that. I'm going to do that. Gotta do this. Just gotta make it there. All of that to that. Just deciding on it now. We're gonna do technique. No. Transformation hero. So we don't need any of this really. We know it hits hard. Yeah. Like after this, I'm literally just gonna probably sit in novel AI and just type in random words to get what I need. But first things first, we gotta do this. The drama system. So, transformation sequence. She live on an uncultivated earth. Manifest chi and perform supernatural feats. They're still beginning phases of their cultivation. Supernatural can easily injure them, and not to mention unprepared citizens of the world can barely see them attacking them. Untransformed, we have all our various shit. Like, advancement on Wednesday is going to be this, by the way. It's going to be like finally like standardizing what standard transformations, power transformations, shin transformations are going to look like. Initiative, fast initiative. Get this phase. Resolve order strictly by battle map position. Mortals and minions. During the initial round of comedy of the side, that's kind of what we already wrote. When the initiative order has been determined, each combatant will resolve their turn in descending order. Combat will resolve any effects and damage they sustain during the round. Powers and abilities that are resolved during this phase take place immediately before damage is resolved. Orderly that sustains from the highest to the lowest. Should an enemy be annihilated or Gia taken out, they will be removed from combat at this phase. Heaven or hell. They tried to stop the beasts. My name is Bill Clinton. Get ready. We'll clash. My favorite Guilty Gear character, Bill Clinton. She and the allies begin either in heaven or center earth. All being in hell to center earth. Hell descend earth ascend heaven. Hell descend earth heaven. The name of heaven, the promised land. Each battlefield will have a certain number of features on average. Change the nature of the line, provide additional cores. You manipulate a feature for a bonus. Or allow them to perform stunt action to build up. Then we Kier Fury of Heaven. Martial arts melee weapon. Target will both roll a combat skill check. Whoever scores the highest will deal a combination of all their dice plus combatant to the loser. You must target enemies that are currently engaged with or any enemies within one space of them. Gia takes aim and chooses the target with a ranged weapon. Don't need that. So Gia and the target will both roll a combat skill check. If the Gia scores higher, they will hit. The enemy roll higher, they will dodge the attack. If they hit, they will deal damage. One of the dice roll on their check. If the dice explodes, they may take. Gia is currently engaged. The engaging enemy may make a free attack against the Gia, rolling an opposed combat skill check. If Gia fails this attack, they will take damage and their attack will fail. Defending. Users defend themselves from assault. And if they are attacked that round, they do not retaliate, but gain warning bonus. Kind of how damage works, which I think this is neat because I'm good at that. She takes a breather and focuses on internal energy. They may increase their Zen by +2. I do. What if I do? It's really thick. It, like my life, is falling apart. Cause you had a bad day. Bill Clinton, Demon Slayer. Again, Bill Clinton is my favorite Guilty Gear character. That's why Gold Lewis is also my favorite, because he is Gold Lewis is the minister of absolute. Even though, weirdly enough, this is a complete side tangent on everything else. Guilty Gear's been kind of dropping off recently. Like Guilty Gear, like Steam charts. Like, Guilty Gear kind of, like, dipped there for a bit. Like, right here. Like, this is some pretty nasty dips. Like, yeah, mind you, this was, like, a big sale went on right here. But then it was like, yeah, peak players. Like, ew, that's not very... These numbers are not great for fucking. Let's actually check a Tekken. You do Tekken 7 Steam chart. Tekken's fucking banging. But I know, I think didn't they have like a big tournament recently? Like, yeah, they've had all-time lower, but like generally speaking, maintained pretty consistent. But I will always say I like Tekken more than anything. I fucking love Tekken. I wish I could play Tekken well. I can't. I never have been able to play Tekken well. But fuck me, man. Give me that Kazuya shit. Oh, it's so good. Love Tekken. I love watching Tekken. Fuck anyone who plays Akuma, though. Anyone who plays Akuma, fuck that. Fuck you. Go to hell. But Tekken's so fun to watch. Guilty Gear isn't fun to watch to me. Mortal Kombat isn't really that fun either. Mortal Kombat can be fun if you like certain matchups. My boy Jax is playing because I like Jax players. Like the only other fighting game that I really enjoyed watching, like super hard, was Street Fighter and Tekken. Street Fighter is just fun because it's just like there's some. If you've never watched a Street Fighter tournament, watch a Street Fighter tournament. That shit is insane. That is completely bizarre. Because these fuckers go. They're scary, man. Let's see. Maneuvers. You moves to an adjacent location in the battle map. They attempt to move out of the section with an enemy. They either spend a second action, making a post-combat skill check, which they are defending from a melee attack. Now we rewrite this section because we actually gave that a term. If they are attempting to move out of a space, engaged, they must spend a second action, or make an opposed combat skill check, which they are defending from a melee attack. If they fail, if they succeed, they move. Fail. If they fail, they. So we just kind of have like a run the fuck away option here, but that if they attack that. Oh, good. Oh, right in my eye. Something's in my eye. Performs action for a feature. They do a free to narrate what they do, increasing their 2. Partial trans. Master the next forward of their transformation can increase their karma by half the transformation's value. The rest of the round, they are treated as if they next stage of the transformation. As part of the resolution phase, they will fall back into the transformation. Zen technique. Performs a Zen technique. Effects and pain. Cost. Execution. Minion rating. I have not designated what a minion rating is yet. I know what that's going to look like, though. Vaguely. I vaguely know how it's going to look, but I can pretend I know. Came here, the first thing I fucking read is a guy talking about. Yeah, I mean, it's Bill Clinton. My favorite guilty. See, I just want, again, I want in my, all I'm saying is, guys, $1 million game idea. $1 million gaming idea. President Rumble. We just get every single president of the United States and we have them in a fighting game together. Just have, all I want to see is George Washington throw a fucking haymaker at Buchanan. Let me main Martin Van Buren as he, does a does a fucking triple backflip in the air to, punch fucking, Nixon in the chin. Let me have this. Do you realize how much money we could make? Even better. You could do the Emancipation Proclamation where George, fucking Abraham Lincoln, does like a fucking roundhouse kick and just, bodies some poor fucking dude. Don't you want to see that, everybody? I want to see Obama beat the shit out of, fucking John F. Kennedy. It'll be great. Think of the money. If I look hard enough, that probably does exist somewhere. We can even have combat wheelchairs. Exactly. FDR really broke it because his hitbox is different. It'll be great. Welcome to the New Deal, as he jumps up in the air, grabs his wheelchair, and bashes you over the head with it. Yeah, come on, baby. We're making the money. He sees it. I'm gonna show you the Dwight D. Eisenhower. Get. Power slam some motherfucker. The DLC will be easy. You can just throw in other American heroes. Hey, Douglas, welcome to the American Caesar, as, fucking Douglas MacArthur power slams, his local enemy. You see it, too. It works so well. Realigns with chi. They may increase their armor points by 2 for every Zen they currently have, spending it all at once. If the armor is already broken, then refocusing requires 7 Zen restore. Armor points, healing, heals and ability. Good for this. Transformation, actions to transform, karma gain. We're gonna increase this up to 20. We're gonna increase this up to. Going full Shin transformation should feel fairly difficult. But it's also like you're going Shin transformation because you want to go that hard. You're trying to go. Actually, we do fucking 1030. That means you can more actively get to Shin. If we bump it up to like this, you're not gonna be as tempted to go to Shin transformation as often. Or you're going to want to spend it for like a very important thing in particular. Idea. I didn't play Obama Flash. No, I want a full 3D, fully Unity. Give me the Unity asset store, super move. Yeah, Billy the Kid and Sundance Kid versus Teddy Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy. All I'm saying is Miracle Bullet would be a great fucking finisher for John F. Kennedy. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good for this. I think we're in a good place. I think we really all it boils down to is this last section right here, which we're going to be able to do pretty consistently. The only thing that I know what we want to go to combat, battle map. This is the issue, is like everything is like very nicely put together here, so I'm a little bit hesitant to like shift things around too much. It looks so okay. I'm like, I know what we can do. Put that right there. So if you put this right here, what we can do is we can actually add a side note. Side note, elemental strengths and weakness. Certain abilities may have an element associated with an attack. The elements are fire. It's fire, earth, metal, wood, water. Yeah, that's it. Let's see. The elements are fire, earth, metal, wood, and water. If a combatant that is weak to an element, they take double damage. A combatant strong to element, they will take half damage. There's not going to be any of this almighty bullshit either. No, there's not going to be like the almighty fucking element or gun element. sorry, Persona sisters. There will be none of that. I always thought that was the stupidest. Being like, it's the gun element. Like, no. Stupid. We go here. This does preface Walking Mortals. I did add some lore up here. Generally speaking, too exciting. What I am going to do is let me readjust you lightly. Nicely. Are you so vertical? Insert table 1 by 1. Exposition on page. Exposition on page. Important note, fraction. Important note in the fractional. We'll do the fractional note. Unless stated. Otherwise, all fractions are rounded up. All fractions are rounded up. Fractional note, unless otherwise stated. Go. Just gonna put that right there. I should be better about that, because sometimes I'm like, sometimes I don't put it in on. It's usually an accident, like how I don't put it in. Other times I'm like, I'm just gonna not think about it, like dumbass. Oh God. This burying fire, bury the light deep within. Na, 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 na. That we do that. Fractions are up. You down 1, down 1. Okay, good place. Things are coming up. Pog. Things are, as we like to say in the hood, going pog. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna call it there for today. Been streaming for a little over 2 hours, but here's the plan going forward. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing the I keep trying to say fucking Elite or Eclipse something. Okay, I'm going to be doing the Elite Dangerous game. That's going to be tomorrow's video. Wednesday, we're going to finish up Eclipse phase. That's going to be that's going to be the final Notepad Must Die of this game. It's going to be 7 episodes. We're going to do it. It's going to be great. Friday night, I'm going to be going over all of your Zombino games. If I don't get many of them, it will also be me playing a game. Do I know which game yet? No. Originally, I was going to stream something like Victoria, but I might not be able to. Because fuck you. How did your players the price you? This is from the third one before the... What? I'm getting another phone call. I'm going to call it there, everybody. Solid, ask me that on the Discord. I will see you all later. I'm leaving now.